Good morning all, and thank you for joining us for the webinar on enhancing user experience with HR technology, the Schneider story in partnership with PeopleStrong. I am Shweta from People Matters, and before speaking about today's agenda, let me give you a brief about today's topic. An in-depth understanding of the user's need is the key to success for any solution. This story is as true for HR as is for any other business function in an organization, especially in manufacturing setup, where the users are the employees and the HR team is the one designing or implementing the solution. Despite this knowledge, not many organizations are able to create an HR technology ecosystem with user in mind. The focus remained on 3 C's: customization, complexity, compliance, while it should be 3 E's, which is ease, engagement, and experience. Here is the story of an organization which tried to take a different track and results were phenomenal. In this webinar, we will explore the business context, capturing the organic and inorganic growth journey of Schneider, the HR tech story, issues faced by Schneider in respect to integration with different platforms and the resolution methods, and finally, future and vision, focusing what other disruptions Schneider will bring in the HR technology space in future. Let me now introduce you to the speakers for this webinar. I am delighted to welcome Srinivas Surapani, VP HR, Schneider Electric, and Prakash Rao, founding member and VP, Multi-Process HR Outsourcing Business, PeopleStrong. Prakash is an expert in the field of HR transformation. He has led the transformation of human resource for various leading organizations in India. He has special expertise in the field of HR shared services and has led the implementation of HR and recruitment shared services for clients across industries. With a rich experience of over 16 years, he manages some of the top customers at PeopleStrong. He drives a team of 275 plus HR professionals across the country to deliver a superlative customer experience and meet PeopleStrong's commitment of simplify work life. Prakash strongly advocates leveraging technology in a big way as a key in driving change in HR. Our partner for today's webinar is PeopleStrong. Established in 2005, PeopleStrong is a leading HR solutions and technology company in India, delivering cutting-edge technology-enabled HR solutions in the space of recruitment, employee life cycle management, payroll, compliance management, and analytics. The company has enriching experience of over 175 plus customers and over 500,000 users for over a decade now. Known for its penchant to innovate, PeopleStrong has many firsts to its name. The recent one being India's first native HR app, which aims to transform the future of work and work life across corporates and organizations. We have saved time for you to ask questions at the end of the webinar. For those attending the live webinar can submit the questions anytime during the presentation through the Q&A section. Like always, we will try to respond to as many questions as time allows. So, we have a very exciting agenda today, and I'm super excited to hear what our speakers have in store for us. So, without any further delay, let the experts take over. Prakash and Srini, over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the introduction. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for logging in today. So let me just set the context of what we're going to talk about today. So in these VUCA times, I think there is an increased focus on employee and his well-being, and HR fraternity is focusing on the 3 E's, which is the ease, engage, and experience. Ease for an employee to manage his time productively, so that he doesn't spend time on HR-related activities. Engage the employee so that they stay tuned to his or her needs and address them effectively, and also provide enhanced experience so that the productivity at work increases. And HR teams, HR fraternity across the globe are trying to find answers and means to achieve these 3 E's, which have become so important these days. And at the core of achieving these 3 E's is HR technology, because HR technology is what can help enable this change in culture and also change the working style for HR teams as well. It is this HR platform which enables business and HR to partner together to provide enhanced experience to employees. So Schneider Electric was also trying to find answers to this journey, and that is what led to this partnership with PeopleStrong. For about 2 years now, we've worked together on this journey to achieve great milestones. And I think the business complexity and the acquisitions which Srini is going to share has made this journey really exciting and interesting for us. And of course, it's my pleasure to introduce our main change agent from Schneider, who has enabled this transformation for us. Srinivas Surapani, Srini as he is known to us, is one of the most interesting HR leaders that we have worked with. The reason why I say most interesting and also refreshing is because Srini is not from HR background at all. He's in fact, a business leader who was, part of commercial teams, then customer care, and then moved into HR. So his way of looking at HR is indeed refreshing and extremely different to what traditionally people look at HR and its connotation to what it has to deliver to their employees. Srini is also a global human resource strategist with extensive experience developing creative solutions that improve organization effectiveness and deliver business results. His proven ability in working with all levels of management to integrate human capital initiatives within the business. He also has a strong record of achievement in leading change and transformation efforts that increase productivity. He's a versatile leader and problem solver with a passion for excellence and diligent follow-up and highly developed influencing and communication skills. He has a rich experience in Schneider Electric for about 18 years. The most common factor amongst all of this experience has been his strong customer advocacy and quality acumen. From taking customer calls to managing customer care centers and from doing quality audits to bridging process quality gaps towards customers, he brings with him a wide array of experience towards customer experience management. So he's seen customer care, he's seen compliance, he's seen audit. Now he's trying to see how do we juggle all of this to provide experience to employees, at the same time also comply to global rules as well. So thank you so much for being part of this journey with us, Srini, and I hand over to Srini now to share his experience with us.
Thank you, Prakash. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining in. Just a quick note, my presentation here is not to benchmark any organization. It is clearly to show our objective to how we improve our employee experience at every touch point we have in our organization and move the people experience from good to a wow service. So that's the disclaimer I would want to start with this presentation. So here's an overview in the next 20-25 odd minutes. These are the things which I would take you through, for a couple of you may feel that these are best practices and some of them may not, but these have actually transformed the experience at our organization. So I would like to share these with you, and also at the end of the session would want to hear if you have any feedback or suggestions to see we speed up this transformation. So to start with, I would want to also take few minutes and a slide or two to let you know what Schneider is all about. Also show you the structure of HR fraternity in Schneider. Then I will bring you to the problem statement. See, I've taken over this role a year back, and what was that problem statement given to me, and what was that mission given to me? I will talk more about it, and then what we have done on the transformation journey. Well, in 1 year, whatever work we have done, I would still say that we're roughly at around 40-45% of the journey. We still have a long way to go. So a couple of things which we looked at the problem, the way we looked at the problem, and the way we approached is what I'm actually planning to share during my presentation today. And couple of things. See, whatever said and done, HR services is an operation, right? So for operation, it's like a mechanical wheel. Your people are more important for you to bring in the transformation. So what did we do from a culture perspective in the team? And then I would also want to share what are the next steps and plans for the coming months and years to do, and then we leave the floor for question and answers. So, quickly about Schneider. Schneider is a 175-year-old organization globally. If you look at, there are three different roadmaps I would want to talk about. So, first one is Schneider is actually initially in the 19th century, it is a French-based company, France-based company, and these people were actually creating cannons. This is how it was started up in 19th century. It was called as a steel industry, and in 20th century they've slowly moved into power and control, but then they wanted to move away from France and wanted to become a global organization. So that's when they started moving into different countries, different zones to increase their portfolio and also to increase their sales. In the 21st century, to have the entire portfolio of energy management and automation, Schneider has gone very aggressively you can look at year-on-year roadmap there. The number of acquisitions they have done to get that portfolio is immense. So this is what we have done in the 21st century. So now let's look at how big is Schneider and how the revenues are actually balanced and what we are doing, what our vision is all about and stuff. So Schneider, this is a statement which we all make, saying that we are the global specialist in energy management and automation with the largest portfolio in our industry. So we are also market leaders in this industry. So in Schneider, I'm talking about 2015 revenues. We are a 26.6 billion organization, and as a philosophy, we want to be the technology leader. So we always, every year, 5% of our revenues are devoted to our research and development. Well, I say that 43% of our revenues actually come from the new economy. So that means the amount of investments what we're doing, India being one of them, are actually huge. And if you look at our revenues, they're very balanced between the geographies. It could be Western, Northern America, or Asia Pacific, or rest of world. And our focus today is more on the rest of world, where more of these new economies are actually coming up from. And if you look at how we are divided as a business, we actually have 45% of our revenues come from buildings and partner segment, 21% from the industry, and 20% from infrastructure, and 14% from the ITES segment. Globally, we have 160,000 employees. Sales and marketing is around 20,000, and 56% of employees in new economies, right? So we talk about new talents, new technology, new people. We want them to come from the new economic centers. And 38% of our new hires are women. We have a strong focus on the diversity and inclusion, so especially the gender diversity. Today, the ratio is around 38%. In India, especially, while I will specifically talk about India landscape, but this is on a global footprint. Out of the 160,000 employees, 21,000 are from India. About our factories, we have around close to 200 factories worldwide, in which 29 factories are in India alone. And we from a CSR, giving back to the society, we also have 3.5 million households and trained over 5 lakh people since 2009. So quickly moving on to our footprint in India. So Schneider in India is present in 76 cities across the country. We have 21,000 employees, 29 factories. We also have India is chosen as a global hub for research and development and a couple of factories. So in research and development, we have 1,500 people. We have 45,000 plus point of sales, and our business is through the distributors and partners. So 2,000 plus partners is what we operate our business through. And this is a key slide for today's presentation, because you see this is India in the last 8 years. Typically how you build your house. First, you need to have your foundation, then the first floor and the second floor. So we call it India as the entry phase in 1963 to 2000. In India, Schneider is there for 50 years. The building base is what we call it as 2001 to 2005. But the aggressive growth all came in 2006 to 2004, where inorganic, lot of acquisitions like Invensys, Luminous, and lot of these big companies have been acquired to make sure we have that entire portfolio of energy management. A quick snapshot of how HR is organized, or the entire fraternity is organized in Schneider. We have three functions under HR, all three reporting into the CHRO globally. The first one is most of it is actually the subject matter expert, which is the HR solutions team, more of L&D, talent management, OD and rewards, comp and ben. All of them come into one structure. The second one is which is the closest group to the business, which is more driving the strategies, supporting them on the people development and all of that. We call it as HR business partner. And the third one is what I actually, this tower is what I head, and this is where we actually do the shared services, which is recruitment, payroll, compliance, analytics, all that which is run in HR services team. Now, okay, so now let's look at our objectives. When I took over this, I've shared you a slide where close to 8 big companies have been acquired, inorganic growth, a lot of people, a lot of different policies, different systems, different culture, separate databases, separate ERPs, and you want to give unique experience to all these employees. Consolidating them is the problem statement which was given to me. And we also then said that, okay, we understand the problem, but let's have a quantified problem statement so that we achieve that and see what we have done. When we look back, we should feel that these are the improvements which have happened. So then we said that we had a couple of discussions with the business and understood their expectations. Firstly, streamlining the payroll, which is the most important, our emotional part of an employee, and we want to reach to a 99% accuracy. We said a lot of people joining in our organization. So these are the people who are joining Schneider with a lot of aspirations, right? So their first experience of onboarding or during their employee life cycle management or their offboarding is very, very important. Today it is we don't have systems, we don't have processes. It is like dependent on their luck, right? So that's where we have started off from. How do we automate the letter generation, the master data? Because employee data is a mine, and if you don't manage it well, and if it is again attached to the emotions of an employee, it could be a designation, it could be a reporting structure, it could be for your headcount analysis, versus tagging into a finance. So these are all very, very important. Then we also said that how do we leverage the technology and see. Now I feel that in our organization there are three different segment of employees. One primarily who are catering to the factories, 29 factories which I mentioned to you. These three when I talk about these factories, they may not have their laptops or fancy phones where they can actually access these tools on their laptops and phones. The second category are the technology who are supporting R&D and the IPO part of it. These are the people who want everything on their phone, on their laptops, so you need to have a different solution for them. And the third category are primarily the commercial part of it, which are these sales guys who are in the market day in, day out, and they may not get connectivity very often. How do you give them a mobile ready solution where they can do everything on their go? And with this lot of acquisition, there's also while there is good, there is also bad with a lot of softwares, processes, solutions all coming together. So a lot of complexity. We also wanted to make sure HR business partners spend more time with the business so that they can plan the strategy and do more job with the business rather than answering more queries of employees. So we wanted to create some kind of a query system which would help employees to get their resolution faster. So now a quick landscape on how was Schneider looking 1.5 year, 2 years back, how if you look at all of these functions, a recruitment or a onboarding, so I wouldn't read all of them, but I think with the interest of time, you look at it, majority of them are with different ERPs, most of them are Excel sheets, and if a business leader wants a report of all of this in one snapshot as a scorecard, it is chaotic, right? You need a team of 10, 15 people to sit down and do manual intervention, create all of this for a business leader. This is how the landscape was. So we actually tried to do it in 2 steps. Then I said, first let's try to digitize this. Wherever you're trying to use Excel sheets or some kind of non-standard applications, let's digitize, and then we look at automation at the next step of it. Let's digitize and bring all of them on one landscape. So that was the mantra what we started off with. That's when we embarked and got and signed off with PeopleStrong, and these guys have actually done an excellent job for me, and I would give this credit to them on the journey, on the transformation what we have. They have helped us speed up the transformation, or else it would have been the typical crude way of Indian way of moving into different technologies, bringing them together. It would have taken a lot of time. So if you look at, they have a solution called Alt, which actually helped me consolidate all of this and automate at the same time. So and we still have, as I said, the transformation is not completed, right? So we are at 40-45%. We still have a lot of areas to work, and we have plans and discussions going on. But I'm actually sharing the success story of what we have done at the bottom, what you see on those cases. A quick, I will spend more time here. This is where I would want to explain how we have moved from what we were to what we are today. So onboarding services, what used to happen is, I still remember when I took over this role, people used to come with tons and tons and bags of documents along with them, with the big bags to provide, do that 1 day, 2 day paperwork. A typical government organization, you see that they carry a lot of documents, come with them, and they may not be getting their laptops on day one, they may not be getting their ID cards on day one, and the typical chaos which normally happens to a guy who joins on a day one. I hear a chat from someone saying they're not able to hear me clearly. Okay, I'll try to come closer to the phone now, so maybe it could sound better now. So what we did is, okay, we said, in India, normally the notice period of any individual joining in ranges from company to company and region to region, and a minimum would be 1 month, and sometimes there are also 3 months notice periods some companies follow. So when an individual accepts an offer letter, I would want to start the process then. So the moment today, how we have automated it is, the moment someone accepts the offer letter, the next day they get a link to their personal email address. They can, at their ease, on a Saturday, Sunday, or on a holiday, whenever they find time, start uploading all their documents into that tool at home itself. So there are those laundry list of documents which they have to provide. Once everything is done, all that mandatory documents which are submitted at the bottom, you have a submit button. And any of these mandatory documents is not uploaded, they cannot click on the submit button. The moment all of these are uploaded, when they click on submit, they get a business class boarding pass with their picture, which is their entry gate pass into the office. And this will have the contact details. This will have the joining date, their manager, the buddy, and it's a typical boarding pass which they get, and the day one. So a month before, these people have complete all this documentation on the site. The moment they're coming into the organization, all this back-end work is done, right? So they're getting their laptop, getting their ID card, all this joining formalities are actually done. So on the day one, when they are into the organization, the first thing what we are trying to do is give away their laptops and not starting their formalities at all, giving away their bank accounts and all of that. So in that way, you actually Schneiderize or bring them into the company and make them feel that they are part of the organization, and then start doing the induction process. So that's one thing which we have completely transformed, and the feedback is completely a wow feeling of an employee who's joining Schneider. The second one, what I would want to talk about is we also centralized a help desk where all these queries are actually landing into a centralized desk where they are monitored and they are SLA driven. A typical employee desk, how do you run? And we track surveys and looking at how the satisfaction scores are moving. The next one I talk about is we talked about mobile technology. So we have created an app, which is again, I mean, you can create an app, but if it is not easy to operate for an employee, then it is not a success. It's a change, but if it is not easy, it will not go through a success. So it's a three-step process. You just have to mention what query it is and put a quick note on it, and then they send. So and it reaches to the help desk, and there's going to be a pop-up on your screen which says that you have sent one query and it is in red. The moment you start getting any update, you start getting alerts, and the moment it is closed, you could see the status on the phone. In this way, what happens is it is clearly employees clear that someone is working on it. He knows who is working on it. At least he will not actually call HRBP or business partner or someone else to check what is going on. So it is online update, and it is pretty easy for them to update it and raise a query on the app itself. And the last one is on the offboarding, which is I remember when I saw people on the last day come with the paper asking respective department heads to sign. They move from every cabin to cabin or person to person, standing next to them, waiting for them to give them a slot. I said this is not the right experience. These individuals have been giving their best to the organization. Now they've chosen to move out for a better prospects or whatever, but it doesn't mean that he becomes an enemy, right? So we wanted to give them a wow experience even there. And my ultimate goal is on the last day, I would want to give a check to him saying that this is your full and final settlement, and say thank you for your services and you're welcome anytime if you want to join back Schneider. So that's the experience I would want to actually give them. So with this, again, deployment of this tool, I can actually tell you there were cases of older than 1 year with full and final settlement. Moving to the next slide. So these are the things, key highlights which we're talking about. We actually launched a PeopleLink help desk. We also developed an app which is called as WeCare, and we're also working on a self-service portal where most of the queries, the frequently asked questions that actually are at your touch. You don't need to depend on someone. You can do a self-service there itself. This has, our first call resolution rates and case closure rates are at ground level. While I show you a 53 and a 64% respectively there, these are not best in class scores at all. But I'm saying from the rock bottom where we have started, these started showing a lot of glimpses of improvement, and the experience of employees, our voices are actually reaching us on these areas. I would also want to show you how the volume started increasing and how our first call resolution rate started increasing month on month from the time we have deployed this. And the case closure rate, because we started monitoring, and this tool actually sends in notifications even when you miss out the SLA to the respective hierarchy, and there is a governance process which we have put in. And we have seen that there is a clear improvement of close to 21% in our FCR and a case closure rate over here from a metrics perspective. Now, we also wanted to increase efficiency, and we said we need to have a one-stop shop for all queries. So there is an existing a toll-free kind of a number within our organization which is used by the IPO. It is well advertised. People know that. I didn't want to create a new one, so we tagged on to them. So our objective is the way we treat our customers outside in the market. You wanted to give them one single number, one single stop shop for all queries. Typically, that's exactly what we want to do for employees too. Today, we don't want them to call for IT services to someone. We don't want them to call for admin services for someone, for HR services for someone. So we wanted to have one-stop shop where all the queries comes into HR. The ultimate objective is to enhance employee experience. right? So we have created this and made sure we have given an extra pillar in that of HR services where they can press that number and they reach us over here. And the next one, which I talked about, is what is it for the stakeholders and the business heads? How are the business intelligence reports, MISs? How are they coming on timely? How accurate are they? That's something which what we said, guys. We are there everywhere. People are running from one person to another person. Rather, we have created a Tableau-based report where we said every 1st and 15th is when we're going to refresh this. You can customize it yourself. It's like a drag and drop. You can go there, put your requirement, drag drop, and you get the report. So you don't need to depend on someone. It is more of a information at your fingertips. Whatever you have is what I have. So it's more from a self-service is what we have done. Now, if you look at a pictorial representation, how it was in the past and how is it today, people were running in different directions. There was no single point of contact. They were going to manager. They were going to HR person. So there was a lot of inefficiencies going around in the system. People were not happy, especially when it comes to a salary or a designation when they are not properly printed or showed on your pay slip, or you're not getting your salary properly, or your IT returns are not done properly. So they normally, these are all emotional things, and your performance automatically dips. You would not be able to do that job what you're trying to do on a day-to-day basis. But now it is very focused, and there is a clear SLA published on the intranet where people can see, if I do this, how much time would it take? If I do this, how much time would it take? And we try to mix all the technologies with the acquisitions we have. We all bought them into one platform. Now you can see the SLA. You also have an option to get onto a mobile platform if you're interested. So there are different options. And for managers, now they know how much of productivity they can actually gain from these employees, and how much of on a periodic basis they can look at headcounts. On a periodic basis they can look at analytics as to how much of attrition has happened and various other things. Now, this is where, from a people culture transformation perspective, this is my favorite slide. I actually took a week to actually design this one. So this is from where we were to where we wanted to go. From HR services, normally HR services is a thankless job, right? So you're supposed to deliver that job, and you can't expect an appreciation. But something goes wrong, you're the first one to be blamed. So this is how it is designed, and it is a thankless job. And if you look at from a positioning perspective of this department, people should feel proud to say that I'm working for HR services. So that wasn't there. It was shown as a HR support function, not easily visible. It is one of those back-end functions sitting at the back. This is the feeling an employee who's actually supporting or working for HRS feels. They feel that it is a standalone function. It's only a medium is what they feel, and they are very reactive in response. This was in the past. What we wanted to transform this to is to make a critical business support function where today, if you're talking about employees being your engine to generate revenues in the organization, their motivation levels, their performance levels all depend on how they're treated and what kind of experience are you actually giving to them. So that we have changed, and today we are the single point of contact for any employee queries, and they really depend on our services. We're also doing a lot of things to make sure our department is visible across the organization. Hence, your team, which is working for you, feels proud that this department is visible everywhere, and we are doing a lot of things to transform this organization. And we also said that, okay, let's not do a standalone function operation. Let's not do silo job. Let's collaborate. Let's look at what is the overall HR vision for the organization is. Let's be a lever in that vision and try to transform ourselves to make sure overall HR vision for the organization is met. The next one is ownership. Primarily, you don't want to say that this is not my department, this is not my department, while everyone sits in the same team. The ownership is what we wanted to bring in. Someone reaches to you, they're in need, right? So you take the ownership. You know the people inside the department well, so you get that work done. Give that confidence to the employee, and make sure you go back to them with a response. It doesn't mean whether it is your department or it's not your department. and proactive participation. So these are from a positioning perspective which we have changed, and I think we have done a fair job on the first part of it. Then I said, what do we do on the climate and culture? So it was always, we also was, only the 6 people, when I say 6 minds at work, it is only the leadership team sitting in a conference room, deciding on a vision, deciding on a strategy, and then say that, oh, okay, guys, this is the plan, and you now deploy it. Rather than that, we changed it to saying that all the people, 80-member team is what we have. We decide what we want to do, and then we then communicate. We want those engaged minds to make sure it is not one person's vision, it is the team's vision, right? And they were just feeling that they're just a representative, and they're trying to carry a message from one place to another, do the job from one place, take the job from one place to another. But today we're talking about more to be an ambassador, right? So that brings in pride in your job, what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Today, if you look at, they feel that they're just doing a job, and we want to make them feel pride on what they're trying to deliver to the organization. Today, you may be supporting an employee, but what is the ripple effect which is going at the back? The productivity is improving, the emotions of an employee is improving. So there are a lot more which is supporting the business indirectly, right? These are all softer ones, but yes, they are contributing to the business in one way or the other. I also strongly believe that the HRS is kind of a very monotonous in place. You do the same job again, same script again, so it becomes pretty monotonous. So I also believe that the old fundamentals of the farmers, what used to happen in few generations back, you sing and work. So you need to you need to have that fun element always at your work, which improves your collaboration. These are all our fundamentals. Bound by guidelines, I don't want these people to follow the book and say that I could not support this employee because of 1, 2, 3, 4 reasons. So we have empowered, said that you are the CEO of your position of what you're doing. So you do your best what you think you should be doing when you are in that position. And from an employee perspective, open-ended escalation management, it's like it goes on, no governance model. We put in some closed loop escalation metrics, and if someone is not doing job, normally in any organization, and Schneider as an organization, we are moving towards a high-performance culture. So when you say high-performance culture, if you have 80 people should be contributing to the cause, and all of them should be working at the same stage. Same level, sorry. And in some organizations, it so happens in my past experience, there are people who are working very hard, remains to be working hard, and people who are relaxing seems to be relaxing at the same level. So we want to make sure this is measured, and make sure all of them have a skin in the game in this mission. Internal focused function metrics, we wanted to say that we are one of those employee experience contributors. So we wanted to show that our value to the organization. When someone actually comes up to you with a query, you have a templatized, a typical customer care call center mentality. You give them that kind of responses. We said we should not be that. Be empathetic. Be empathetic in when you're handling these scenarios. We also found there is a skill gap. We wanted to do a complete assessment and groom these people to the job and make sure these are ready for any queries required. Inclusive actions on surveys. We do a lot of surveys. Sometimes these surveys go sit in our mailboxes and no action plans. So we wanted to implement a governance plan, action plans to make sure these are done, completed, and we show that go back to the employees for giving the feedback and show them the actions what we have done. So, this is pretty much about what I wanted to share, how we have transformed, how we have digitized, what are the returns we have started getting. From a culture perspective, what we wanted to change, and this is what I've shared with you, but there are some areas we still have 6 to 8 months of work which we're working on to automate the employee life cycle management, the biggest one, and the next one is we have some kind of digitization on the talent acquisition, but I would want to concentrate a lot on the social media part of it, and we're working a lot on that piece again. Offboarding, I still said we have reached a 40% completion there. I would want to accelerate that piece there. And internal talent mobility is something which is a good motivator, which is again a responsibility of my team. We're trying to put in structure. We have wonderful policies in Schneider. We're making sure how each of these employee who have joined Schneider gets a career in the organization is something we're actually working on. And the last one is policy harmonization with the acquisitions I talked about. Each one comes with their own policies, and today we are done. 76% of our policies are harmonized, and we also have one single page policies one single page policies is what we would want to go. You don't want to give a policy with 10-page and 5-page policies. Rather, crisp and clear and neat, one single page policies is what we would want to arrive at. So this is all about it. So I, maybe put it back to you guys if in case you have any questions, suggestions. I'm more than happy to take those questions and also ready to listen to your suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Srini, for that information and for that in-depth, description of how you went about doing the change. So I see a lot of questions currently on change management in terms of how did we go about, managing resistance. One, from the business, how did you do change management with the business, and how did you do change management internally within HR for them to be able to adopt this new way of working?
Yeah, I think blessing in disguise. I've been part of the management member here, so people know me and they've seen the transformations I've done in the past. So that confidence is what they had. One, it was a little easy for me. It would have been a little tough for a new guy. That was one. Second thing is, we have not gone on transformation completely in one single shot. So what we did is we have chosen to do pilots first. We wanted to do it, understand what is the impact of this, then take it to a larger scale. We showcased and advertised these pilots in different pockets and said that this is what we have done, this is what it has come out with. So the people were more asking asking for these actually when you started doing these pilots, and they've heard and started listening from the same own employees saying that we also want this to happen. So we have not done this transformation or deployment in a large scale in one shot. We have gone in phases, which helped us, and it also had a complete buy-in from the business, right? So that's how we actually involved the stakeholders to make sure there is a complete buy-in. And HRS as a department, if you start deploying and if you don't have a buy-in from an employee or from a business, you would not move ahead. So we have chosen that first is my own team's involvement.
Sure.
They all leadership commitment, my team's commitment that what we're doing is right. We're driving in the right direction. So that's the reason I've showed in the previous slide from 6 minds to 80 minds. It's a vision of all our department. We would want to go there. It's that fire in that belly where everyone has the same thing. It is not only me, it's all my team in the last leg of the organization has the same fire. And then we said that you may have a fire in your belly, but if business is not supporting and people thinks it's one of those stick sheet activities, they would not have commitment.
Right.
So we did it in a phase-wise, which actually helped us, and things are going on in that right direction.
Great. And I see a couple of questions on topics. One is I saw a question which spoke of how do you manage HR directors? How do you manage people with large egos, the leadership team? So one of the things that you do in a platform like this typically is you create a priority queue for specific people. When you know there's specific businesses or specific business leaders who would need special attention, then the system has the capability to be able to prioritize their queries, their transactions, their requests, so that you're able to turn around and give it to those specific people in a quick time. For example, let's say for an employee, we're completing a transaction within 24 hours. For a business leader, you might say, I'll do it within 2 hours. And you create the priority desk, which might, help you to manage large egos. One of the questions I saw.
Maybe I'll just
Sure,
add
please.
to that. So what we did is, it's a human mentality. So you can't do anything with the egos. You will have those set of people. What we did is in the help desk, we have also created. We know who are the business critical guys. So there is a line for employees. There's a line for a dedicated line for the HR business partners because they would need support now, right? They can't wait. They need something which is they would need it now. and for a business people, a separate line. So there is a prioritization. I agree with you, and we have that. So that's also is helping us.
Sure. And also, I think, Sunanda, because you're talking about mentality here, I think the main way you're able to manage that mentality is through leadership sponsorship. Because if you have sponsorship from your top leaders, that's where they'll be able to, make that change as well. Sometimes there will be we call certain people as dragons. There'll always be these dragons who are breathing fire. They don't talk. They only breathe fire on any change event that happens. There'll always be such people in any kind of change management that you do, but if you have sponsors in the leadership team, you should be able to manage that. And one of the other questions I also saw was on, whether did you have an in-house platform or on cloud? I'll be able to answer that question. So what we've done in Schneider is to have an on-cloud platform. The reason why they've gone to an on-cloud platform is because it becomes that much more easier for the employee to access the tool anywhere. If somebody's on leave or he's enjoying his vacation, if he wants to access the tool, it becomes that much more difficult if it's in-house. Number two, then being able to engage with the employee becomes easier through mobile apps as well, because if it's on cloud, then you're able to give access to a native app to an employee through which he's able to manage these transactions as well. That's one of the questions we saw. And some of the lessons, one of the questions I'm also seeing is, because you are a business person, and what is your view of HR technology according to you? If you keep aside your HR hat, Srini, and wear the business hat again, what are the key elements you would expect your HR team to have as part of HR technology?
Well, I think first thing is as I said, it is the empathy or the ownership of if you take the employees as the core of your organization, their performance, their emotions, and day-to-day career development is very, very important. How you're taking care of their queries, how you're taking care of their needs, how you're designing policies which are employee friendly. I'm actually not even taking the HR role at all. I'm talking from a business hat itself. Today, if you want them to do sales, let's talk about the commercial part of it. And you have given a target of 50 crores per month, and these guys are day in, day out in the market with the customers driving it. But why, when they come back to the organization, they would want them to be, so from a policy perspective, it should be very employee friendly. It should be flexible to work from home. You don't want them to, after finishing a tiring day of meeting customers, you don't want them to ask them to come back to office to record their attendance. Right. So we have become very, so the one more thing which I wanted to mention here is, you had these hardworking employees, you had these technologies also. But this is that era where we are trying to put them together. So this is a statement which I keep telling to my team is, it is an era where we are saying people making technology work. Right? It is putting people and technology together, and we're trying to make the technology work, to make sure the efficiencies are increased, to make sure we run the extra little faster. So that's exactly a business guy is expecting.
Sure. And one more question I see here is, with all HR technologies and all the innovations happening in this field, are we losing the human factor in human resources? Are humans going to be relevant in human resources? Or are we going to see a day when robots are going to take away the role of HR? That's a question that I see coming as well.
I may have to take one more. So last week I was in a Zenov conference. This is the exact question someone has asked me, and he was a journalist. I was a little careful in answering, but I will do it here. So I would say, I think world is round, right? I will tell you a story of last month when I met one of our old customers. He says, I'm afraid this technology is going to take away the emotional touch of a human being. He said, I remember those Saturdays when I used to get up in the morning. He wants to go to the bank, so he gets ready, takes bath, freshens up himself, does his insert, goes there. He loves giving that physical checkbook and taking that cash from the counter, someone smiling at him, someone saying, did you have your break? So those connects are actually going to miss up today. How many of us actually go to a bank? How many of us actually go to a railway station? So, right? So I think you completely should not digitize. You should still have, so that's exactly what we're doing here. That's the reason if you look at my presentation, I'm not talking about completely only digitizing. You need to have that human connect. So you should have a mixed model always. If you go one way, yes, you will get into a stage where you will say that, man, I don't need this. I want that human connect. From a sales perspective, for example, a washing machine, a service engineer is coming to your home, and now you say you automated and you can do it on the phone itself and your washing machine is running. But look at the amount of business you also lose. When you go home, this washing machine service guy who's coming to your home, he not only sells ingredients for washing machine, he also says that, hey ma'am, I see that your TV is dirty, can I give you the spray? So that cross-selling opportunity actually misses out.
Sure.
And a customer also misses that human touch.
Sure. And I think my perspective on this topic is that, as long whatever technology replaces the work that HR is doing, it will never be able to, replace intuition and empathy.
Yeah.
As long as intuition and empathy, if somebody, innovates something where an artificial intelligence can also do innovation, intuition and empathy, then we might be in trouble. But till such time, I definitely feel the HR people are safe there. Another question I see here is, question on traditional hosted software versus on cloud premises, which I could probably take up and answer. So I will tell you what are the difference and what are the benefits and in both of these. And on cloud software, one of the first things that everybody questions is the data security of having an on-cloud software. So one myth I want to burst here is that on-cloud doesn't mean it's visible to all people across. On-cloud is still a private cloud. There's a difference between a private cloud and a public cloud. For example, Facebook is on public cloud. If you have your HRMS on cloud, typically providers like PeopleStrong will give you a private cloud which only your employees have access to, number one. Number two, all these people who are putting your data on cloud, they also go through a lot of data security measures as well. For example, PeopleStrong has gone through SSA 16 certification to ensure that we're able to provide the data security option to our customers. And one of the main differences is when you have a hosted software in your organization, any software updates that happen, it becomes very tough to come back and implement. Let me take an example. The traditional ERPs that people run, if the traditional ERPs, if are there on the system, and if they make any changes there, until they come back and implement in your company specifically, you don't get that update. Whereas on your phone, if there is an update of an app, it keeps coming and you can keep updating it. That's one of the most important aspects of moving to on-cloud. So, Srini, I also see questions in terms of employee satisfaction, with the help of technology. So how do you ensure that you're bringing employee satisfaction? Another question which is pertinently coming is blue-collar workers. How are you addressing how are you putting the focus on them with HR technology? These two questions, if you could take up.
So maybe the second one first. From a blue-collar employee perspective, the touch point when you want to bring in some technology, this is where I'm actually using that human touch. This is where we're trying to not show our strength of technology and which will not work on them. They may not have a high-end phone. They may not have a laptop or a computer to manage all of that, what you're trying to give them. Right. So we have deployed kiosks at different places with this technology, which are completely trained, and inviting them to actually take that. So we have created incentives for them to come and try. So then until unless someone tries it, everyone feels it's a big monkey, right? So once they try it, they feel that it is very good. They go tell 10 more people. So that's something which we have done. So we have not removed our employees from these locations. While other locations, once technology is deployed, we have removed people from there. But here we said that we still should have that emotional touch, people touch, and human touch. People should feel more comfortable walking to an employee and saying, I have this problem, rather than typing or putting it in a system. So we are having that mix solution for in our organization.
Sure.
And your first question on the
employee experience, people are asking that once you're going live with the technology, employee satisfaction, how are you keeping employee satisfaction as a core factor? How are you bringing about that change with technology?
Sure. So for employee, if you look at from a touch point perspective, It could be business. Let's look at all touch points. What are the different touch points an employee has in an organization? One, his or her own boss, his own colleagues, HR business partner. They may not reach to a HR service until unless they have a problem, right? And they may travel and admin and different departments. So what we're trying to do is at every touch point, how do you give them that experience? It could be HR business partner, business leader. So with these tools coming in, there is certainly a lot of improvement on the employee satisfaction, which has showed in our overall scores of our organization in India, and it has showed a drastic improvement. Now, it is employees, they're like you and me. The expectations doesn't remain there. So you gave them something today. It's not that it will remain for next 2-3 years. So you need to evolve. You need to evolve. That's exactly what we're trying to improve in our technology to make sure the satisfaction levels are kept.
Sure.
So answer number one, yes, our scores have increased by deploying this technology. And second point is, would they remain there and would they be happy? I would say no. The expectations are dynamic, and you need to work a lot on these tools and based on the requirement of employees.
Sure. Not much time. I think there's one question we could still take, which is very interesting, is while HR is managing all employees and taking care of their satisfaction, who takes care of HR in such a scenario?
I think very, very lovely question, actually. So, I tell my team also something which is what I missed out in talking and during my presentation, is I tell my team every day in a meeting, I say, keep complexity inside, show simplicity outside. So that means employee doesn't want to know how many tools you have, what processes you have, what problem you're going through. They want a solution. They've reached to you on a problem. They want a solution. So how you give the solution, that's the reason I said keep complexities inside and show simplicity outside. Now, looking at a couple of things in the previous slide when I said the fun element which we brought in, the recognition part which we have. So you don't want someone to recognize you. Take care of your team. You recognize your team yourself and do whatever. Give them that pride. So that is the transformation slide which I talked about. When you show an employee saying that you are not just one of the guy in that supply chain, rather you are the guy who is actually doing this relay race. You're one of the runners in that job. So that's how we have transformed, and there is a pride in people now working.
Right. Great. So I think we've just about run short of time. There are a few more questions which have remained unanswered. What we're going to do is, between me and Srinivas, we'll try to respond back to you through an email to some of the questions that you have, so that we're able to ensure that all the relevant questions get answered as well. Hope that's okay. So we're done, Shweta. Over to you now.
Great. So what I was saying is that I will definitely share all the questions with you and you can answer them offline. And as you can see, there are many questions. So yes, and with this question and answer session, we are going to wrap up today's webinar. And once again, we would like to thank our webinar partner, PeopleStrong. And of course, a very, very special thanks to our speakers, Srinivas Surapani and Prakash Rao, for this webinar and the amazing insights that they have shared with us today. And of course, I would like to thank everyone in the webinar audience for participating in today's presentation. We will come back to you with many more, like always. So this concludes today's webcast. Thank you all and have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.